the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like a ceiling can.
Just counterpick himself. Is that what we're seeing now?
I think the goal is to play around bot side of the map. I mean, the thing about the Gangplank is with the use of the ultimate, we've seen it multiple times from the side of Team Liquid.
Liquid in the second game of the MSI group stages, which is obviously taking place in Hanoi in Vietnam. Interesting draft, not one we were anticipating or expecting, but now the onus is on Team Liquid to step up and not let this Vladimir Azir Kaiser get to the late game.
Kane said in his interview that he wanted his team to play faster at this MSI. He wanted them to be able to trade blow for blow. We saw them successfully accomplish that against Fongfu. This is a team that also plays very quickly. Going into Flash Rules, I expected potentially the TL would just play a little bit more tried and true, but it looks like that MO is continuing.
But I do also feel that Team Liquid is also playing very Team Liquid. Like, they're investing resources towards the bot side of the map. Jensen is on a champion that you can look to make plays on. A little bit more towards the scaling side as well, but will spike very strong around the one item. And I just think that Impact will just have to sit and absorb as much pressure as possible. So, like, even though it's a little bit more early game focused and they have more tools and options in the early game, it still feels like very Team Liquid in my eyes.
I mean, that line, Impact will have to absorb pressure. I've heard that all year long. You know, it's just something that's very important. And I just want to put some numbers to something you mentioned, Spawn. When Team Liquid took down Fongfu Buffalo, at 15 minutes, they had an average gold of 1,000. They only conceded 4 towers. They got 80% of the dragons, and they won in an average game time of 28 minutes. There was a lot of negative fan sentiment based on how the skirmishes played out. But I was fairly impressed that Team Liquid, they didn't overexpose themselves and they did win the crucial objectives to take the Series 3-0.
And I think something often neglected is if a team runs at you in your jungle and fights you, oftentimes the best response is to fight back. So yes, the game's got down and dirty, but I haven't seen Fongfu play a clean game yet unless they're running over their opponents. TL certainly did not let that happen in their qualifying match.
Now, the one concern that I drew from that series was Team Liquid's ability to set up plays and be proactive. They were excellent at punishing Fongfu Buffalo for a lot of the mistakes that they made, but like in Game 3 when they tried to set up the tower dive, they were overzealous. They tried too hard to force something, and I want to see this Team Liquid just be a little cleaner in when they're trying to force things, because I think they have a lot of options with this Team Liquid composition, and I want to see how well they can enable this bot side of the map.
Because I don't think fans are critical of the class of players, maybe outside of Impact at times. However, it is that stylistic choice of being reactionary that we do not
Being a little bit bold, anticipating a longer lane in things.
Well, the thing is, this is something that Spawn was talking about in the draft. We might not have time, as rather getting ganked.
Yeah, Pillar of Ice comes up, but really easy with those concrete shifting sands to escape for Rock.
So here, Xmithy just trying to alleviate some of the pressure in the mid lane as Akali, melee champion versus Azir, range champion, struggles a little bit during the early laning phases, but that will change once she hits level 6 and has a little bit more kill pressure.
And Rather is actually the player on loan from Griffin over in the LCK. Played with the game throughout 2017, scale equally in this lane. They're going to be arguably stronger at that 1 and 2 item mark, so maybe looking to utilize that advantage, get around the map earlier is what I want to see out of this TL bottom lane.
So now my eyes move towards the junglers, because you can see that Xmithy, he recognized that he has pressure both bot and mid lane, so he looked for a bit of an invade. And Trundle can be very effective early. Tracer to see a fight in the bot lane.
All right, Betty's already flashed, and now shall see forced to flash as well. Xmithy got that Pillar of Ice. That's going to block out the Justice Punch. Got interrupted as well. Chelsea's able to escape, but for the exchange of an Ignite for 2 flashes.
Yeah, great pressure exuded on the bottom lane there, you can see.
I think Team Liquid's very aware of the potential gank. If we spotted it in the VODs, it's very highly that Team Liquid spotted it in the VODs. And here we see the ulti. It's going to happen anyway.
Well, there we go, just before 8 minutes, but the damage is so high. Now Flash Wolves are on the retreat. Needs to find the stun. That's Betty locked down. He's got no flash, remember. First blood picked up by Core JJ.
And whilst they do it all the time, it doesn't always make it correct. TL scout the play, Impact drops the ult, and they get the kill.
Betty getting stuck in the wall. He looked like he was out, but a perfectly placed pillar from Xmithy secures the kill onto Betty, and Team Liquid lead with first blood.
And you just got to give all credit to Team Liquid. Not only was Xmithy in place, they played it well. I initially thought the burst damage was very high and made me nervous, but Team Liquid, they knew exactly what they get. first blood and the dragon.
But this is why initial trade of Summoner Spells is so great for Team Liquid on the bottom map. They just had every advantage. And, you know, this is what a good draft gives you. If you've read the fact that they're going to go slow, you've counted out the first time. You can see right now they are once again going to have to play on that back foot.
I appreciate the observers highlighting where the goal differences lie. You can see that while the Flash Wolves bot lane is struggling, Hanabi is still doing well towards the top side of the map. He's built up a pretty healthy CS advantage as we see a gank in the mid lane.
All right, Emperor's Divide does not push Jensen forward. Paranoia has already been used. Rather is going to be saved by Boogie. Now the impact is... No, sorry, correction. Jensen was backing away. Waiting to see if the Cannon Barrage was going to come down. Did not at the end of the day. Boogie close enough to save Rather's life.
I actually really like this play from the side of Team Liquid. Rather not running the cleanse means it's actually very easy for Akali to set up the gank with the ultimate, and because he used his stealth with the W, Rather's ultimate actually made connection to no one. And because of the amount of mobility that Jensen has, he can very easily dive and duck and maneuver around these big CC utilities. So I like the setup. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite convert it into a counter.
However, they will be able to potentially convert this into a Rifter. Also, both early game objectives uncontested off the back end of good Smithy counter.
You know, had to reverse sweep their finals to qualify. They've got 3 consecutive LCS titles in a row. This is their second MSI appearance, and all eyes are going to be on Jensen and Core JJ, the 2 big roster swaps coming into the season.
And in my opinion, one of the big ways in which they made this reverse sweep happen was by enabling and playing through their bot lane. And they are doing exactly that. Huge props to Xmithy, finding ways to punish Boogie in the early game. They're committing by bringing this Rift Herald down towards the bot side to give Impact the freedom to now move out of that 1v1 and then move Doublelift elsewhere on the map. And it just feels like they are enabling their star carry the way in which they should be.
But we'll see whether this is going to be a counterpunch from the Flash Wolves. No, pulling out of the play. So now they've got themselves a 30 CS lead. Play onto Rather again.
All right, there's the Paranoia. Boogie's going to be trying to help out Rather. That's a dash forward there from Jensen. Boogie's going low to Doublelift. That gets on the board. Second kill of the game and the first for Dia.
And Liquid just playing this game on the front foot, being able to rotate up through that forest meant that there was no prior vision established for this Flash Wolves lineup. They know exactly where Flash Wolves want to go, and they're cutting them off every time.
And look at the timing. Mountain Drake available immediately after Boogie goes down. That's 2 Paranoias in a row used defensively on a champion like Nocturne, where you really want to be going forward.
And Trevor, I have a feeling that the Flash Wolves thought this laning phase was going to go for a little bit longer. And just there is why we talk about mid lane priority. The fact that Betty had to show on mid lane, Doublelift was able to duck into Fog of War, meant they get to start up the Dragon for free, see whether the fight comes.
Jensen's making his way up from the Tri-Bush. That's the Paranoia already thrown down. Dragoness now being interrupted. The teleport comes out from Impact. Impact finds himself in the middle of the melee. He's in trouble. The second Infernal is picked up by Xmithy. Now Core JJ is backing away. Emperor's Divide throws Team Liquid aside. Jensen is on to Betty. Putting the damage down as Shalcy is already out. Jensen finds the second of the fight, and now Boogie's running for his life on the wrong side of the rift. Hanabi gets tagged by a Winter's Bite and will pick up Xmithy with at least a transfusion. The stun comes down, and Jensen picks up another.
They get the Dragon, they get the kills, and TL now in firm control of this game.
Flash Wars, the way in which they approached this fight was disastrous, throwing absolutely everything at Impact. The weakest member, the guy that is branded as absorbing pressure, and he absorbed 5 members beautifully.
He's going to come into the Baron pit. Core JJ steps forward. Reminder how different Core JJ has had an impact on Team Liquid. He has the fight set up, not going to go just yet. Shalcy's instantly blown up. Core JJ manages to find the kill.
And this is perfect.
Hold that for the fight.
He's got another opportunity. The taunt will come out from Xmithy. Look at that pillar of ice. Jensen goes all the way back in. Rather is chunked so low. Shalcy goes down as Jensen finds yet another kill. Hanabi forced a Proto Belt to safety. And of course, the Shalcy once again going down. TL are using Baron as a perfect bait.
Well, honestly, this is just great use of vision control because they have so much vision in the river. It means the Flash Wolves have no idea what's going on. They've abandoned the bot lane completely because they've ran out of teleport. So they've just been awkwardly dancing around this objective, looking for something to get them the way back into the game, and Team Liquid don't give it to them. The moment they overstep, they punish the mistake, and again, it just shuts you out.
And of course, the question we're going to find out as the day plays out
Desperation here.
is whether or not it's going to be quick enough. There goes Boogie, he goes in. Hanabi completes the TP, and this will be just in time for the Guardian Angel to come back up. That's Hanabi already down. Xiaoxi's running for his life. Jensen dashes all the way in, waits for the taunt to come out. He turns his attention over to Rather. Rather escapes with his life for now, burning down from the Ignite. Doublelift takes the tower. I think the Ignite takes down Rather. That is 4 down.
Perfect team fight from the side of Team Liquid. Flash Wolves went for the desperation play. They knew they were going to lose this game, but it was not enough. 5 members still alive. Team Liquid looked to get their first win of MSI.
And you could see they got the pieces together, but they could not make it work. TL will push the Nexus.
Yeah, Betty's gonna get jumped on for the time being. Jensen fancies himself a dive. Not right now as the Nexus is being focused. The North American LCS team, Liquid, will take down Flash Wolves to open up MSI groups. What felt like a slow start ended in the complete opposite. From Baron to finish in 2.5 minutes, it was decisive, it was clean, and it was all Team Liquid.
And keeping